Hi, happy Halloween. Welcome to Kids Kitchen. This session we're going to use up some of your pumpkin and make some delicious scones. So don't throw it all away. Pumpkins are really good for you as well as delicious. They're rich in vitamin A, so that's what we're going to learn about today. I bought this one small pumpkin and it has given me enough material to make these scones, plus the pumpkin and feta strudel I have planned for tomorrow. I'm not going to go into the best way to remove the flesh from your pumpkin. I'm guessing you bought the pumpkin to make a Halloween lantern, so you'll be getting the insides out anyway. Suffice to say, the only way I have ever been able to get the middle bits out is with an ice cream scoop. You end up with a little pile of stringy bits like this that are easy to cook. In this recipe we need 200 grams of cooked pumpkin, so you can cook it anyhow you like, but I grilled mine for about 10 minutes, stirred it a bit and it came out fine, and it's also left my combo grill oven nice and warm, so I save a bit of electric. So one of the things I'm going to do now is put that oven on to 200 degrees, ready to have the scones in. Also, don't throw out the seeds. There's loads in there. And they're a good source of protein and fibre and many other vitamins and minerals, and they taste great roasted with some spices, and we can just put them in the oven with the scones at the end, so we're not using any extra electric. So let's have a look at the ingredients and the equipment that we're going to need. Now before we start on the mixture, we might as well prepare our seeds because we don't want to throw them away, but before we bake them we want to boil them a little bit. So I've cleaned off the seeds and I'm just going to put them in some boiling, very slightly salted water for 5 to 10 minutes and then drain them. When they've dried off, we'll just toss them in a bit of olive oil and some spices, and then we'll put them in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes when the scones are ready, and then they'll all go in together. So let's make a start. First, put your flour into your big mixing bowl with your spices. I haven't got any allspice, so I'm just using half a teaspoon each of ground cinnamon, ginger and nutmeg. And then we need to grate our butter into the flour mixture. Now that sounds a bit weird, and you do need to have your butter in the fridge. If it softens in your hands when you're doing it, just dip it in the flour and it'll make it easier. Really, this is just a replacement for rubbing the flour in with your fingers like we used to do, so if you find it awkward, then you can just rub the flour in. When you've grated in your butter, you just need to mix in all of your other ingredients, stir it all up with a normal knife, and then add your milk a little bit at a time until you've got a nice workable dough. Here's mine. Just the right texture, not too dry, not too sticky. We can tip it up onto a floured surface and start to roll it. So just make sure your surface is nice and clean. Spread out the flour and put a bit on the rolling pin as well. And then we tip out our dough, squidge it all together nicely and roll it out. Roll it out to about 4 centimetres thick. Don't make it too thin, because then your scones won't rise enough to cut them in half and put some butter in the middle. We're going to prepare a baking tray so that it's got on it a little layer of butter, or you can use parchment paper. Meanwhile, I've got my seeds out, I've dried them off, and then I've mixed them with a bit of oil and a bit of paprika, and I'm going to put those in the oven right now whilst I'm rolling out this. Now for cutting them, I've got this nice cookie cutter, but you don't have to use that. You could just use a teacup or something. Cut the pieces out and place them next to each other on the baking tray, but don't put them too close together because they will rise whilst they're cooking. And so here are my scones ready to go in. They need to be in the oven for between 10 and 12 minutes. They should rise and be slightly brown. And whilst you're waiting for those to cook, you can learn about vitamin A. We're always told that we need vitamins, but what do they really do for us? Let's have a look at vitamin A. Vitamin A helps us in lots of ways. It builds up our immune system and helps us to fight off infections. It's really very good for your eyesight. It helps your skin to stay lovely and clear and healthy. And it does a lot of other little technical biological things that we can learn about a different day. So let's have a look at what things we need to eat to make sure we get enough vitamin A. There are actually two ways for us to get vitamin A. The first is to eat food that contains vitamin A directly. As vitamin A dissolves in fat, it means that we can get it from some fatty foods, like cheese, milk, yogurt, and oily fish, and also liver. Liver has so much vitamin A in it that if you eat lots of liver, you will actually get too much vitamin A. And while eggs are not fatty, they do give us vitamin A as well. The other way for us to get vitamin A is to eat foods that contain a chemical called beta-carotene. Our body can do a magic trick and turns beta-carotene into vitamin A. Have a look at these foods. Which ones do you think are a good source of beta-carotene? So you can see that really it's easy to get vitamin A because it's contained in an awful lot of different foods that we like to eat. And so you should be able to get all your vitamin A from your diet. Your body can store it in fat because it's fat soluble. So you shouldn't really need to take vitamin pills as long as you eat all of your fruit and veg. And here they are ready. Took them out to cool down on a wire rack and then sliced them in half and served them with butter.